I had the chance to chat with Randy from Key City Athletic Foundation. They are really trying to get kids involved in local sports for no cost or low cost. And I think they found the way to do it. But we talk with Randy about how everything got started and where they are now. Pleasure of speaking with Randy from Key City Athletics Foundation. You know, I fell in love with lacrosse. I think my son was about 8 or 9 years old, and you are bringing the game of lacrosse to pretty much anybody who wants to play it. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely, Danny. That's really a lot of the reason why we exist is it shouldn't be, taken away from anyone at no reason of their own. Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I picked up a stick, I was god awful. I mean, it was one of those like I started playing it my whole childhood playing a ton of sports, but then lacrosse, a bunch of my friends they were kind of telling me we had two middle schools that merged together into one, and they brought up this sport lacrosse, and I'm sitting here thinking, what in the world is lacrosse? Because I was a baseball guy growing up from probably about 4 years old all the way up to high school. And yeah, so they convinced a bunch of, friends convincing friends, and like, all right, we'll try it out. I would go from lacrosse practice to baseball practice, but I definitely wouldn't say I played. The coaches pulled me off to the side and like, yeah, once you can scoop up this ground ball, we'll let you come back into the drills.
You
So it
gotta
was,
learn the
yeah,
fundamentals, right? The
it was
basics.
it was rough, but that made me
Yeah.
grow a love for the sport. And so it was my freshman year of high school. That's really when I started to pick up the sport. And
Yeah.
then because I was not the best at the sport, that made me grow a love for it and want to get better at it.
When did Key City Athletics Foundation start?
What's the biggest thing you remember from 2020?
You mean the pandemic that might have happened?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
one?
That's where I look at that and I start to ask myself kind of where did all of this start? And it's kind of it hits home for me, and it's hard. Sometimes it is hard for me to tell it because it means a lot to me, and it really is one of those to where the people that have come and gone through the foundation and that have come and gone and have helped me kind of become who I am. That's where I saw that in 2020. We had probably one of the best seasons that I've ever seen going into one of the high school years. I also coach at Walkersville High, and the coaches were having a great time. The players were having a great time, and then it was just one of those you could see the writing on the wall. And one night it crushed my soul, and that's where I would say for me it even drove it home even more for myself. And I'll never forget getting messages from the kids of them screenshotting Twitter, and they're just like, it can't end like this, coach. And you just you just never really realize how much people's lives are being impacted because we're so focused on ourselves all the time and kind of like
Yeah.
grinding day in and day out. And so that's where for me, I'm kind of a tough love kind of guy at times. You can ask Nick, you can ask the other coaches, but there's also a level of empathy that I've learned from this foundation. And
Yeah.
yeah, seeing those kids and knowing that that's their world and that's what they know. And if you can't take a step outside yourself and realize that they've worked day in and day out to kind of see the fruits of their labor and to have it just thrown away, that's all they know. And that's 2 years after when the foundation started, really. And that's going into that was where I saw these kids when I started coaching at Walkersville that we had a very huge disparity in skill level. And I started to ask myself, like, why is that? And then I also started to talk with the kids and try to figure out, like, who they are, why they're here. And some couldn't afford cleats, and some
Yeah.
didn't even want to play because they couldn't afford anything. And so that's really where we started in 2018. I'm like, well, we have to figure out how to make it so that this kid could play and a couple others. And so we started with the Reindeer Games Indoor Box Lacrosse League in 2018. And that's where we were raising the funds for Walkersville. And then we are also giving the funds to Blessings in a Backpack because just as important as it is to provide opportunities, I think, for other people, I think it's just as important that we teach the kids around us like how much it means to give back and how much more you can receive from that. So I said, hey, half of our money is going to go to this organization, and then half will go to the actual like high school program, so we can get equipment for the kids. And so
Yeah.
from there, I saw that kind of gap still. And I'm like, this isn't gonna fix anything. It's gonna be a temporary fix. We started the foundation and what it truly is now. How can we turn this into a different business model that it really provides all kids an opportunity because it's not their fault that they can't afford them. Usually it's of circumstances that they can't even really do anything about. And so we started with a free business model. The goal is to do it for free. And it was very ambitious. And I also started to see that we are where we're at today now because it's shaped and molded. And saw some people don't really appreciate free. When you're given stuff, it's not appreciated. So now we found that balance where it's like we have families that they want to pay, and we have about 33% of our athletes on some sort of scholarship or payment program so that way they can be a part of our organization. And we have a payment model that's still, we're not, taking tons and tons of money. No one's making money. I'm not making money off of it.
Right.
Rob Shoemaker, who's like crushing his face right now as our new director of lacrosse, he's not making any money out of this at all. And you look at this
Right.
dude, and that's where I say in 2020, that's where it really started because I thought it was about to end, and I was like,
Yeah.
we just put in 2 years of work, and it's like our momentum's gonna get killed. And then we had people like Sonia Shoemaker, Becky Rice, and Jackie Pierce. Jackie, someone who came to just drop off goods for ship. And I was like, well, do you want to be a part of this thing? And she's like, I'm in. And from there, we had meetings after meetings on Teams or Google Meet.
Sports teaches, we all know, so much more about life than you probably even realize as an athlete when you're playing. But there's so many other things that go into playing a sport. And I think that when people realize that, then they understand how important it is to open these opportunities up to as many kids that want to play.
I think you really kind of nailed it on the head there when it comes to the difference it can make. And that's the one thing I noticed is that there's this point in high school for these kids particularly, I think, where there's many that will come to this split in the road, and it's like an inevitable split in the road to where it's like they could very easily go down one path of it might be harder to come back from. And
Yeah.
I've seen firsthand just from the way I've had assistant coaches interacting with kids and seeing how they kind of mentor them. And oftentimes it's happening because we're lacking some level of mentorship from
Yeah.
our immediate social circle. But the one thing that I do love about our organization that I've seen and is really our vision, it's bridging the opportunity and cultural gap in youth sports. And people ask like, well, what's the opportunity? And then what's a cultural gap that you're looking to bridge here? And I'm saying, well, opportunity is one, first look at our organization. I don't want you to look at us as in like we're the bad news bears or something that's we're an organization that wants to help teach our kids competitiveness and how to win. However, we don't want them to come to us and be like, hey, are you looking for a club and travel organization just to get to college? If that's all you and your family want, then we might not be the organization for you. And so it's like, okay, are you looking to come to an organization to be a part of a family, to understand what it means to give back to community and be an overall just good person? Then we want you to come to organization. And if you want to go to college, then that's an inevitable outcome that we hope to give to you and provide those opportunities. And we're not just looking for beginner athletes. We have some unreal kids with talent that I've seen. And we have some that are coming from areas that they might not have gotten the notoriety. And
Yeah.
this kid, his name's Nick, already getting Division II looks, never like probably would have seen it, but I know the dude is a stud. And it's like that opportunity here to where
Yeah.
he may have been in this location. Now he's seeing a different culture of athletes, and we're blending that now to see. Don't look at lacrosse as it's just this type of individual. It's like no, we want other people from other sports, whether it's hockey, like you mentioned, basketball, football, to actually hopefully do more than just one sport too. For me, that's the ultimate goal is to push them to be experiencing other cultures of that.
So keycityfoundation.org if anyone wants to jump in and help, if they think that this is something that speaks to them, or certainly if they know of any kids who may be interested in or did play lacrosse and are no longer playing for whatever reason, they might be really good to have you guys get in touch with.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that anybody that wants to get involved, we have partnerships that we're looking to build both with nonprofit partnerships and also for profit because we're looking to build some sort of leadership programming for these kids where they can actually get experience in the workforce. We have Emerald Technical Solutions. They've been a massive sponsor of us. They even have their own internship called Defense Interns. And I mean, it's been like one of the most humbling experiences to see all these other organizations. And part of our mission, and we really operate off the three pillars, and that's, so if number one is the youth, is what we're doing impacting our youth. Number two, our community. Are we impacting our community and providing opportunities for people to get involved? And then three is other nonprofit organizations. So everything we do, we always try to bring other organizations in. We've worked with Blessings in a Backpack, Girls on the Run, Toys for Tots, the Humane Society, athletes serving athletes. We have the Student Homelessness Initiative Project. And so every free clinic we have, if we can get involved with those other nonprofits, we want to try and be able to provide things for them. Additionally, if there's volunteer opportunities for our kids, we're trying to push them to do that, to say,
Yeah.
hey, this can also help you with, something in your future, as far as if you want to get involved in environmental sciences. That would be a huge partnership that we're looking here in the future. If there's any other nonprofits that are looking, that's how we can help both our kids develop and hopefully provide, some sort of give back to you all. And
Yeah.
it's been just, yeah, absolutely amazing to see the community come together.
Well, I love what you're doing. I can't wait to see what the next few years brings. I know it's going to be awesome, and I'm always here to support however I can. This is Randy, and he's keycityfoundation.org. Reach out and check them out because I think it's going to be a great program for kids all through Frederick County. So thank you so much. Oh, well, I just cut that right off right before he said thank you. Well, there you go. That is Randy, keycityfoundation.org. Check it out if you've got a kid who might be interested in playing and it might be cost prohibitive for you. Just check them out and see what they can do for you. I know that they'll be able to help you, at least even pushing you in the right direction. All right, coming up tomorrow, we're going to speak live to the pastors who are doing the 5,000 toy free giveaway for families in need on Saturday at Calvary Church in Walkersville. And it's really great what our community has done to support families in need. Tell a friend about Good Morning Frederick, please. Have an amazing day. Let's get out there and let's be great, Frederick.